Man, the vets just checked in and reported to training camp, and the Panthers are already getting some tough news. I'm telling you, man, the devil really be busy, dog, for Panthers fans, because, like, we got all this excitement, and then from the jump, some stuff happens. The Carolina Panthers have released starting linebacker Josey Jewell. Yes, on the day that the vets reported, Josey Jewell has been released. And if you had this on your bingo card that the Panthers would lose a starting linebacker on the first day, I'm going to need to kindly ask you to slide me them Powerball numbers, because this really came out of nowhere. Now, it may seem crazy, like, why are the Panthers releasing Josey Jewell? He was solid for them last year. They already released Shaq Thompson this offseason as well. We know the depth was already a question mark for the position. Why would they do it? And according to the team website, Josey Jewell was in protocol for concussion since week 16 of last season. And you can see this is his last play as a Panther this season thus far. It was a sack on Kyler Murray. I don't see anything crazy happening. He kind of just hit the ground. He was celebrating. I'm not exactly sure what went on here on this play. But again, Josey Jewell is out for the Carolina Panthers. They are going to allow him to focus on his health. That's what he said he wanted to do. Now, of course, in this scenario, he was set to make $4.5 million with $2 million guaranteed. So, of course, Josey wanted to kind of focus on his health, stay out of the way, give his teammates a chance to kind of get some reps and stuff like that, and not go through protocol. So they came to a mutual agreement that we're going to restructure the deal. But again, it ends up just being a release, and it creates $3.4 million in cap space for the Carolina Panthers. Now, Josey Jewell, again, in that protocol. This has been almost 7 months since that week 16 game. So you know it's serious. You got to take care of your mental, and it seems like that's what he wants to do. So it's big time prayers up for him. But somebody need to pray for us Panthers fans, because we thought that we were going to be okay at the linebacker position with Josey, and hopefully a step up from Trevin Wallace going into year 2. But this just throws a monkey wrench in those plans. Yes, they did sign Christian Rosebloom, who was formerly of the Rams, has experience under some people on the staff, but I thought he was going to be more like a special teams guy that has upside to push Trevin Wallace. And we thought maybe Josey could be that steady, experienced vet that's been with Ajiro Evero before, that could really be that anchor piece, at least, as we try to do some things there. We did not address the linebacker position in the draft. We did pick up Bam Martin Scott from South Carolina as an undrafted free agent. But to say the least, the cupboard is pretty bare for that linebacker on the inside. But according to the team website, Josey Jewell is simply stepping away. This is not a retirement. For now, he's stepping away, and the ideal, I guess, the appeal of releasing him versus just putting him on an injured list is when you're on that physically unable to prepare list, you count against the 93-man roster. So he will be taking up a roster spot with a probably indefinite period of return because of this concussion protocol. Releasing him allows him to take his time, do what he needs to do, and according to reports, both would like to return to each other if football is in Josey's future. So this is the best of both worlds for the Panthers to make the chicken salad out of chicken doo-doo for the moment. However, what are the options? That's what it comes down to. This is a list of free agents according to Spot Track. Not listed here is Kaiser White. For some reason, he's listed as an outside linebacker, but he's a tweener, versatile linebacker, a little bit undersized, but more of a speed guy, and he's a type of rusher type of guy, but he's not listed here. You got CJ Mosley, you got Jawan Bentley, obviously, Josey Jewell's on there, but that's not really relevant right now. Devondre Campbell, Kendricks, Matthew Adams, Chris Adams. These are just guys that don't make me feel all warm inside when I think about it. Do you go Jawan Bentley? Year 6, he's less than 30 years old. Is that something you target? Again, you freed up some cap space by releasing Josey Jewell, so this could be an avenue, yes. But I'm just not sure if any of these guys are something you want to write home about. Do you wait for the cut deadline and then try to sign somebody off waivers? And at that standpoint, how fast can you get them up to speed in terms of the system and what you have going on if they don't have previous experience with your coaching staff or this system in general? That's another thing to consider. The other part of it is do you try to trade? Now, we know we've been holding on to these draft assets we don't want to give them away. We haven't been stingy with making trades. I think some potential trade bait could be one, whoever loses the center position. we have two starting caliber centers. We've seen them both start at center. They're both very, very capable, and they're both very, very cheap right now with not a lot of guaranteed money. So if we move on from them, it won't hurt us on our books or dead money from that standpoint. So whoever loses between Austin Corbett or K Mays, I think could be a prime trade piece to another team, a player for player trade, similar to what we saw last year when we traded for Mike Jackson by getting rid of our second round pick that we took. And so that could be an option. Another piece, quiet as kept, I hate to say it because he's my guy, is Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen is a guy that is up there longer in the tooth. Could a contender want to use him if they could trade a linebacker that can contribute? Maybe. We have a very, very loaded receiver room right now that we know. Obviously, with David Moore, Hunter Renfrow is a guy that's kind of balancing out the bottom of the roster there. And with Jalen Coker stepping up, Xavier Legette expected to step into that wide receiver 2 role. And of course, Teteroy McMillan being the draft pick. That room is crowded, and keeping 7 is something that could happen. But if you can get a linebacker that can contribute for the value of Adam Thielen, I think this is something that you have to explore. So those are the two guys that I could see being potential trade pieces to go get another linebacker from somebody else. Nevertheless, this situation is not ideal. Again, I don't want to make light of the scenario because when you're talking about brain and concussions and you're being in protocol that long, the Carolina Panthers had something like this similar. I don't know if you guys remember when we had Michael Orr, who was in protocol for almost forever, and it felt like this dude could just not get it together until he eventually retired. So these things are serious, man. I'm not really sure what kind of condition Orr is in currently, but this seems eerily similar when you're talking about it being 7 months and you still having issues. And the Panthers had to be aware of this as things progressed on, but I'm just not sure if they were prepared for this, or if they have a contingency plan in place, or they had a contingency plan in place, or they just didn't address it. I don't know, but this is just a snag of tremendous proportion for the team on a defense that was the worst in NFL history last year and is looking to pick itself up off the canvas to make themselves respectable at least. And they've made some moves up front on the D-line, and they were kind of hoping that, hey, with the D-line being better, it will help keep our linebackers better. So maybe we don't have to make massive upgrades to the linebacker position. That's just what I'm thinking that they were thinking. But now this is just something that is a gut punch and throws a monkey wrench again in those plans. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how things start to play out as the Panthers get to the field for the first time on Wednesday to kick off training camp for the 2025 season. But I want to get you guys' thoughts down below in the comments. Where is the panic meter right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? Are you panicking right now because you already had concerns about linebacker and you on a 12 now out of 10? Are you just like, hey, there's not a big difference between Josey Jewell and whoever else we had? You're not really big on Josey? Or are you feeling, you trusting Dan to cook and find something and figure something out? Let me know your thoughts down below down in the comments, man. I'm Aaron Duncan here. I will be giving you more training camp updates as we go from the crib this time, obviously, because fans aren't allowed at practice, but I'm still here for y'all, staying on top of these news and updates. So make sure you are subscribed and hit that bell icon. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.